What's up YouTube, this is CSX Derivative, and I'm bringing you my first Rage video. This is going to be the best Rage guide that you're ever going to see. I'm going to be doing every single mission for you, every single method, and hopefully this will help you out a lot. Right now though, I'm not going to focus on the gameplay because the first mission is pretty self-explanatory. You just have to go to the guy and go around the area, take out some bandits, and you'll be fine on your own if you just look at the video instead of hearing me blabber on. So instead, I'm going to do a review of the game. So far, the critics have been accepting of the game, but not really giving it full approval. Metacritic gave it an 83 for Xbox, 84 for PS3, and an 85 for PC. If you do not know what Metacritic is, it is a compilation of all the game reviewers, and it takes all their scores, determines whether it's positive, neutral, or negative, and then gives the game a number based on every single one combined. It's sort of like Rotten Tomatoes, but for video games. Metacritic explains that the game is very good graphics-wise and audio-wise, and the gameplay is good, especially the shooting. However, what ended up happening was there was no storyline, and the multiplayer is lacking, and there really isn't much of a game in the game. I agree with them, and I'll get to my notes later. Nobody was really willing to go all out. The best review I saw from, if you just search Rage on Wikipedia, you'll find that Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it a 9.5 out of 10. That was by far the best review, and it seemed like they gave it before the game really came out and was on full release. So I'm willing to bet they're regretting giving that, considering everybody else gave it around an 8. The worst one that I saw was by Joystick. They're a pretty reputable gaming company, unlike IGN or a couple other big names out there. Joystick gave it a 6 out of 10, or 3 stars out of 5 stars is how they rated it. So I'm just going to assume that means 6 out of 10. 10s are much easier to understand than stars. And they pretty much said what I just said previously. They didn't really like the gameplay, the plot, the RPG style. They actually did not like very much, so which is why I was surprised they even gave it a 3 stars. I was expecting a 2 star. So I guess in that sense, Rage got lucky. One thing to keep in mind with all these ratings is that Rage was supposed to be a teen game. It was not supposed to be an M game upon release. And so what essentially happens when some game turns into a mature game rather than the teen game it was meant to be is that a bunch of suspense, action, and just general gore and blood that people like in an M game, especially a shooter or an RPG, just gets left out, especially dialogue-wise. You can't drop F-bombs, you can't drop stuff like that, and it becomes less of a realistic experience. And so when you end up, what you end up having is sort of an RPG that really doesn't feel like one because it's not very realistic. What is Rage other than that, though? It's supposed to be an RPG style shooter. It has a multiplayer but no dedicated servers, and overall the multiplayer hurts because of the no dedicated servers. It's hard to find a server. They have it for all systems, Xbox 360, PS3, and PC, and the PC version is supposed to be a little bit better despite the non-dedicated servers. And they're actually coming out with a Mac version, so lucky you, Mac people. I don't think you guys get a lot of games, especially games that are widespread on consoles and PCs, and especially big releases. So I hope you guys enjoy that, because you guys are finally going to get a game other than StarCraft 2. And my review. Maybe we should head up into that. So, what do I like? The gameplay. The gameplay I gave a 6 out of 10. Not really good. Mediocre at best. And why is that? As actually, you can look at the video right now and you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. The characters just run at you. They don't really play smart. I know from playing Deus Ex, Fallout, and other things that AI can be much smarter than this. It didn't really take me that much to kill him, and it really wasn't that hard at all. And I had never played this game before. I've never played Doom and other games by Bethesda in this genre, so I didn't really know what I was doing at all, yet I still went through the entire hardest level without actually dying. So that's a problem. That is a big problem. However, I do like the guns. The guns are the best part of this game. There are only 4 guns, unless you got the DLC, which I did get, but I decided not to download yet because I am lazy. And they just really are good guns. I wish they were in a different game, because the revolver and the shotgun really have a good balance, good recoil, and they really feel, like, when you're actually playing, they feel good. They feel like a gun should feel in a video game. Otherwise, though, as I said earlier, how other people say, I really agree with the critics. Storyline is lacking. You're left off on some arc in the beginning. If you want to see the opening scene that I cut out of this video in order to make the video shorter for y'all, that's 6 minutes. It's my first video for the Rage series on my YouTube page. Just go to my YouTube page and you'll be able to look at that. But you're part of this arc project. You were alive for 199 years, and then you returned to Earth because some meteorite struck Earth. And you find out that everybody's mummified, and you're the only one who survived your arc. And there are a few other arc survivors, but you don't really get to know them ever. And all these people, there are a bunch of different factions. But in a 10 to 12 hour game, when you have 6 or 7 factions, it's really hard to actually get into any of them. And especially when you're comparing it to a game maybe like Borderlands or Fallout more so, because Fallout has factions actually. Fallout New Vegas does. You really don't get to know them very well, especially this faction right here that it's in the first mission. You just go and shoot them up, and then you never really hear from them again until later, much later in the game, and by then the game's almost over. So you don't really get the feel of an RPG at all. That's a big Storyline, yeah, that's not good. There are a few glitches evident already within the first mission. Some of the characters glitch out a couple of times, and glitches haven't been mentioned very much, so I doubt they're very widespread, but you can get glitched, and it's sort of annoying. And also the multiplayer. I have not really played a lot of multiplayer yet, but I haven't heard great things about it, and I've also, from what I have played, I'm not just going to base this off of what I've heard. From what I have played, it's not really that impressive. They could have integrated a lot more, and once again, those dedicated servers really were needed for this game to actually be taken seriously as a multiplayer game. Finally, one more note on the gameplay. This is the only game I've ever gotten motion sick from. I had to stop after an hour of gaming just because I felt like I was going to throw up. It might be a combination of me being new to these controls and not really knowing how to change the sensitivity. So especially when I'm driving, everything goes willy-nilly. But the head bob is very extreme in this game, and that might contribute to it. I've heard of people getting motion sickness from stuff like Call of Duty. That's not me. So I'm a normal gamer. I can play 5 hours straight on Call of Duty without feeling anything. And so I just don't know what this was. It didn't feel good to me. Gameplay, 6 out of 10. Next is the only shining part of this game are the graphics and audio. Graphics are great, as you can see in my 720p HD hog-pog quality. The graphics really shine in this game. Especially the scenery. The scenery is really quite good. It really captures the post-apocalyptia of the world much better than Fallout and Borderlands, and that's pretty much the only time I'll say that about this game in comparison to those two games. And the audio has great music tracks. I really like the background music. The characters are pretty good at speaking, although there is some lag with that. That's more of a gameplay issue, which is what I would chalk that up to rather than an audio issue. And overall, those two aspects are pretty much the best parts about this game other than the guns. The guns are really what make it. So overall, I'd give this game a 7 out of 10 because gameplay much outweighs a good-looking game. You can't shine shit and call it anything else other than what it really is. And so I'm not calling this game that, but it really just doesn't live up to its expectations, especially considering the games that the producers created in the past, ID and Bethesda, with Doom, and I forget the name of the other one at the moment, but it really could have been better, could have been more interactive, open maps would have really helped, and just Bethesda bringing what it brings to stuff like Fallout would have brought this game a lot further. So, nice colors, nice game, but it fails due to the lack of explorability and plot. multiplayer is mediocre, and it really doesn't live up to standards. So that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will leave you with the rest of this gameplay so I can count this up as a full walkthrough. Just follow the video. It's pretty easy to follow. I hope it's pretty easy to follow at least. I promise my gameplay gets better as I move on because I have never played this type of game before other than... Actually, no, I have not played this type of game before. So forgive me for this one video and maybe my next video because I recorded that at the same time. But I promise I'll be improving my jerky movements and understanding the game better. And I hope you guys stick with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And if you want more content, just head on over to my channel, subscribe, like my videos, and comment and favorite. Do whatever the hell you want to. Argue with my review, agree with my review, just post it in the comments anyways. And I will talk to you all later in a different commentary. I will release more videos, and goodbye.